Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl News. My name is Brian, and Pam Bondi and Adam Schiff absolutely go to war, and I think one side is going to come out smelling a whole lot better than the other, and let's just say Adam Schiff might have soiled himself after this exchange. Let's dive in.
It is all the more important that we have an attorney general who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence to say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case.
And sitting here today,
Senator, 72% of Americans have lost faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question? You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging law enforcement sensitive information. So just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is horrible.
Aware of a...
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked at it.
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has asked me to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president has
We're also worried about Liz Cheney, Senator.
The president has
You know what we should be worried about?
Ms. Bondi, please answer my questions.
The crime rate in California right now is through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president? And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation,
so let me ask you another,
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question. If you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
so
Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President, I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
and
for the pardons, as well
will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the department.
Do you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe you're asking such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Man, just dealing with Adam Schiff in any capacity is enough to turn someone... It is enough to give someone migraines, perhaps for the rest of their lives. This shifty, pencil-necked, brainless, brain-rotted individual who leaked the Steele dossier that, by the way, was completely fabricated. It was nothing but lies, and unironically, it came from Russia. Isn't it ironic that the very nation that Democrats keep on screaming about, Trump's a Russian asset, he's backed by Putin? Meanwhile, during the Biden regime, Putin invades Ukraine, okay? During the Obama regime, Putin invades Crimea. And not to mention, it also didn't help that the CIA under Obama started a coup that ultimately has led to this very war back in late 2013 and into 2014. So, yeah, you think Russia is the big bad wolf here, and then you use their information, then you leak that information to the public, and it turns out that information in the Steele dossier was complete nonsense. I had to stop myself there. It is nothing but nonsense in there. And Adam Schiff leaked it anyways. And instead of reprimanding him and the voters recalling him, the voters of California then made him a senator. No wonder Pam Bondi is not wanting to play nice with these Democrats and answer any of their questions. I normally don't like it when judicial nominees and other folks for cabinet positions just kind of demur and don't really answer the questions that they're given, particularly when it comes from Republicans. I definitely don't like that. But in this case, there is no reason for Pam Bondi to work with these people. There is no case you can make to say that she needs to play nice with these Democrat senators, one of which is quite literally addressing her, who is asking these nonsensical, asinine questions, despite having a complete, being nothing but two-faced and bald-faced lying to the American people about other subjects, then turns right around and asks her all these questions with clear double standards? Yeah, I'm sorry. Pam Bondi must have nerves of steel, because I will be finding the nearest thing that I could throw at Adam Schiff for asking me such stupid questions. Maybe that's why I'm not ever going to be in a government position. I don't think I could stomach this kind of idiocy. And you've got to play along. You've got to play to the music. There's a certain rhythm to these things. And most politics now is theater. Ever since they let cameras into the committee meetings, the theater just gets worse and worse, and the legislation just slows to a crawl. So it makes everything worse. And so Adam Schiff is out there trying to score brownie points, despite the fact he doesn't need to. The voters of California thought that, oh, this guy lied about a sitting president, has been censured by Congress for being a bald-faced liar, and then they make him senator? I mean, come on. We should know this from California. We should expect this from these voters. This is the same group of voters that thought that, hey, one of the members of Congress slept with the Chinese spy, Eric Swalwell. Well, there's no problem with that. Let's reelect the dude. I mean, when it comes to double standards, I'm glad that there's at least double standards, because if it wasn't for that, Democrats would not have any. And I should be playing nicer because I have good friends that are Democrats. But ultimately, this is some nonsense here. Pam Bondi's going to be the Attorney General because she is good at her job. She is going to clean up the department that had been completely weaponized under that Muppet Merrick Garland. Okay? You don't understand how much you should despise Merrick Garland. Okay, the Senate knew well enough to not even give him a hearing when he was up for the Supreme Court nomination, and then they turn right back around and make him into one of the worst attorney generals in American history. The department needs a desperate turnaround, and quite honestly, a good spanking. Tucker Carlson got that right. And Adam Schiff has just the audacity here to have nothing but contempt for Pam Bondi and Donald Trump, despite the fact that he lied with the Steele dossier. I know I'm a broken record here, but y'all, I don't think you understand the full weight of that dossier. What that really means is that this member of Congress, now a sitting senator, had the wherewithal to not just lie to the American people, but go to a foreign country that is often hostile towards the West, towards the United States, and then uses their information in an attempt to smear a sitting president. That is the lowest of the low. That is some House of Cards nonsense. That's some Clinton BS right there, okay? That's what this is. This is a ridiculous script that got thrown away from House of Cards. Adam Schiff picked it up and said, oh, this sounds great. It'll get me elected. This kind of nonsense needs to stop, and that's why I'm so supportive of people like Pete Hegseth. It's why I want Pam Bondi to get there as the Attorney General and just clean out that department, and maybe we can start turning around the Department of Justice, which has been weaponized against the American people. If you want more information, just ask a Catholic or just ask someone who's very pro-life. They'll tell you in great detail. Oh, ask the Amish. And then they'll tell you in great detail of just how ridiculous the Department of Justice has been under Joe Biden. This idiocy needs to end, and that's exactly what Pam Bondi's going to do. So, of course, she's not going to answer the questions in the way the Democrats are going to like. Because the reality is, it is time to take up the broom, start sweeping, and start cleaning. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on PolitiBrawl News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.